The book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
So the Lord has a problem with us. He has a problem with us. Read.
Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing, and lying, and killing, and stealing, and committing adultery, they break out in blood touching blood.
That's exactly what we get from the rap culture.
Right.
Where you have our people talking about, in some cases, confessing the things that they've done, which is why a lot of them end up getting locked up or shot down the next day. Because they're confessing in their lyrics that they were robbing, that they were stealing, that they killed somebody. And they do that blatantly and then put it on the web.
That's
Why?
right.
For social clout.
That's right.
It makes no sense.
Bring it up.
What is that? Exodus 23 and 2? Or Proverbs 23 and 2? Proverbs 1 and 10. Give me Proverbs 1 and 10. That's all. Proverbs 1 and 10. About following a multitude to do evil. Proverbs chapter 1 verse 10.
I think it's on
The book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 10. My son, if sinners entice thee,
So if sinners entice thee, think about it. When we have the music that we're listening to, or that many of our people listen to, that's popular in our culture, right? All that is to entice you to do something.
Right.
That's why they just put it behind a cool beat. To entice you to think the way that they want you to think. It's a bewitching.
Bring it out.
Read.
if sinners entice thee, consent thou not.
So if a sinner is enticing you, trying to get you to do something that you know is wrong, it's not anything related to how you were raised.
Right.
It's not what God tells you to do. You're not supposed to consent to it. You're not supposed to be indulging in those activities. Read.
If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause.
So if they sit there and say, hey, let's hit a lick on this dude over here because of what he did to me this past week. We're not supposed to be consenting to that. But that's what we do all over, especially down here in the South. Read.
Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit.
You know how much hatred that is for your brother that looks like you? You know how much hatred that is for yourself? Where you're sitting there and all you want is this brother or this sister in some cases to die. That's literally it. You just want them dead. You don't give a damn about their family, about their mother, their father, their brothers or sisters, their kids if they have them. You don't care none about that. All you want is their blood. You just want them dead. That's hatred. Because you don't see any other race of people where they're killing themselves at the same rates that we do. It makes no sense. What species of animals do you see that's saying they're attacking itself? You don't see that. You don't see wolves saying they're attacking the other wolves. It made no damn sense. But then you have a black or Hispanic, that's what they go against. Their own people. It makes absolutely no sense. Read.
The book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil.
Once again, we're not supposed to be following a bunch of people when they're doing evil. We know what evil looks like. We all do. We're not simple. We understand what evil looks like. We know it's inherently wrong to sit there and kill somebody. We know it's inherently wrong to sit there and sleep with somebody that you are not married to. As a people, we know that. Read.
Neither should thou speak in a case of decline after many to wrest judgment.
Hey, what's happening, bro?
I think you're a black man.
You think you're a black man? What's your name?
I think black. Troy was.
Dre? Alright. My name is Zephaniah. Alright, so Dre, you said you think you're a black man, right? Look at this sign over here. What nationality, what do you see next to black? American blacks? Judah, right? So on this side, these are the names that God calls us. These are the names that are in the Bible. On this side are the names that we were taught during slavery. In slavery, we were taught, hey, you American black. You black. You're a Negro. You're an Afro-American, African-American. All those terms were given to us by our oppressors. But that's not what God calls us. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 15. We're going to read some of the curses. Because there's a reason why we were called black. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments.
You hear that, Dre? If we don't listen to God and keep his commandments, read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, Dre, are curses a good thing or they're a bad thing? It's a bad thing, right? Look at this sign right here. These are a lot of the curses, the atrocities that happen to us as a people. What you say? This is what happens to us as a people.
Verse 22, the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with fever, and with inflammation, and with extreme burning.
So look at this. For the black people, right, the so-called African Americans, the tribe of Judah, because we didn't want to listen to God and we got cursed, we ended up having sicknesses on us as a people. Now, that's the same thing that we see today. Because here in, I believe, it's either Baton Rouge or Louisiana or New Orleans, one of them, which is second in HIV. Baton Rouge, second in HIV throughout the entire U.S. The third one is New Orleans, correct? And then the first one is in Mississippi. That's our people that it's referring to.
That's right.
Those are the same sicknesses that we're reading right there. Why? Because we didn't want to listen to God. We didn't want to keep his commandments. We didn't want to follow his dietary laws. We didn't want to follow his laws when it came to sex. That's the reason why we have all these STDs. You hear me? Read. Yeah.
Verse 23, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass.
Listen to this. You see this right here? You ever seen the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom? Alright. In Goodbye Uncle Tom, it's a movie about slavery, right? They actually had this going on during slavery where they would have a bird cage. That's really what it is. A bird cage over our head. That's exactly what we're just reading right here. Thy heaven shall be brass. That's exactly what we're reading right there. Right above our head is made out of brass. It's a cage. Read.
And the earth that is under thee shall be iron.
And the earth underneath us, that will be iron. Why? Because when we come down, let's find one of them. You may not be able to see it clearly. But when we come down, we had shackles on our legs, didn't we? We had shackles on our legs, shackles on our wrists. That's what we're reading right there. We'll have iron on our feet, being brought into slavery, into captivity. Who did this happen to? No, who else? Okay, who else? It happened to white people? It happened to a white person?
I was saying like black people.
It happened to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Nobody else. Nobody else. Give me Isaiah 65 and 15. Because you called yourself black earlier, right? Black is the color of the crayon box. The word black ends up deriving from the word, well, it goes back to the word Negro, right? Which comes from a Latin word necro, meaning dead. That's what you're calling something when you're saying you're black. You're saying you're dead people. There's no life in you. That's a byword. Read.
65:15.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse 15. And ye shall leave your name for a curse.
You hear that, Dre? God said we would leave our name. You would leave the name Judah. You would leave the name Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, so on and so forth. You'd leave that name to be called a curse. That curse is African American or black. That curse is being called a Jamaican or Puerto Rican. That's a curse because those names mean nothing. Can you go to the land of black? Where do you see the land of black over here on this map? That's the land of black? That's not the land of black. There's no land in the world that's called black. It's a byword. It's a curse that we call ourselves. Read.
And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for the Lord thy God shall slay thee.
He said, unto his chosen. Where are his chosen people? Us. He said, we leave our name for a curse unto his chosen, right? And he would slay us. That's why we've been killed ever since we got onto them slave ships. Constantly. A lot of times today we kill each other. We kill ourselves. We don't even sit there and wait for the other nations to do it. Look at this right here. Look at this. Did you ever know that slave ships was in the Bible?
No, I ain't know it. Take my
Deuteronomy 28:68. We're gonna read it because remember, we're going over the curses. Them putting us into slavery. Because of what? Because we didn't do what? Go back to verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments.
That's it right there. You heard that, Dre? To observe, to do all his what? So because we didn't keep his commandments, we were cursed. Now we're going to read one of the curses.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So he said the Lord is going to bring us into Egypt, into slavery, captivity. You ever read the Bible? Okay. You know about Moses though? A little bit of Moses. Remember, let my people go? All right. What you got? Okay, give me that.
We're going to read something from Moses, right?
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
So God brought us out of the land of Egypt. Egypt was our first captivity. The first place where we were enslaved as a people. Right? They were our first slave masters. Read.
Out of the house of bondage.
So he calls Egypt the house of bondage. Bondage meaning slavery. So whenever we read the term or the name Egypt, we gotta think slavery. You get me? Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So the Lord's gonna bring us into Egypt, which means, what does Egypt mean again? Bondage, right. It means bondage, it means slavery. He's gonna bring us into slavery again. But how?
With ships.
With ships. Look at this over here, because you were looking at this side earlier. Right, with ships. Egypt again, slavery, bondage again, with ships. This is what you call the triangular trade that was going on. They were taking us from the west coast of Africa, right? They were taking us from the west coast of Africa and then bringing us over to South America. That's where you have your Hispanics and and also some Indians, Native American Indians, and then also to the Caribbean and to North America, where you have the rest of the Native American Indians and the tribes like Judah, the American blacks, Benjamin, and Levi, the Haitians. You hear what I'm saying? That's what happened to us as a people. Read that part again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So we go into slavery again with ships. What race of people went into slavery with ships outside of the blacks and the Hispanics and Native Americans? Who else? Can you think of one? Nobody else. You learned about slavery in school a little bit?
Yeah, I did. I was trying to.
These are the images that you saw, weren't it? You saw this. You saw black people on the ships.
Yeah.
Think about it. As they're crossing from the west coast of Africa, going over to America, that's about a year and a half that it takes them to come over here, right? And in that journey, with everybody crowded up there, they're barely getting any food. You can see right here they're not getting any sunlight. They're actually being tied down and bunched up together like cattle. Every single month you have a woman who's menstruated on top of you. You have somebody vomiting on top of you. You know what I'm saying? You have fecal matter, you have urine. That's all at the bottom of these ships that we're smelling for a year. And we barely get any light. If you're not getting any light, they have no windows. So if you're not getting any light, that means that smell is trapped inside them. So many of our people died. Imagine this person right here at the bottom. Imagine all the bowel movements and the urine that's coming down, all because we didn't want to keep God's commandments. You hear what I'm saying? Keep reading.
By the way where I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
So he said the same way that he's writing it is the same way it's going to happen to us. And that's exactly what happened. Read.
And there you should be sold unto your enemies.
Who were we sold unto? Our enemies. So the people that bought us in slavery, give me some of their races. Okay, yes. You said Benjamin Franklin. What was his race though? Yeah, what was his race?
White.
He was white. What other races of people? You had white people, you had who else? That had us in slavery. Okay, so Germans, right? We'll say that. You have the American whites, you have the British, you have the French, the Germans, the Asians. They all put us in slavery. Read that part again.
And there you should be sold sold unto your enemies.
So we're going to be sold into our enemies. God says that they're our enemies. So we can't be cool with everyone. We're not supposed to be. It's supposed to be between us as a people. You hear me? Read.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
For bondmen, slave men, and bondwomen, slave women. That's what we were to them. We were slaves. That's why they treated us the same way they treated us. Read.
And no man shall buy you.
Meaning, no one's going to save us. Who has actually saved, or think of all the people that tried to save the black people. Think of all the black civil rights leaders. You had Martin Luther King, right? He tried to save us, but did it happen? Malcolm X. Did it happen? Did he actually fully save us? No, because we still in the condition today. We still curse, correct? So they tried something. It was good, the efforts that they had, but it wasn't enough. Why? Because God said that He would have to save us. It's not up to some man to do. You understand what I'm saying? So now, those are just, the basics of some of those curses, right? Now I want to recap. What was the reason why we went into captivity? Because we didn't keep what?
Money.
Huh?
Money.
We didn't keep what? God told us to do something and we didn't do it.
I don't know. I was young.
The book of Deuteronomy.
Older than me. I just made 25, like, only 46.
Alright, I'm 26.
Oh, I'm 25.
Yeah, so ain't much of a difference.
Yeah, I thought you were like 28, though.
Nah, ain't much of a difference. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Hey, Dre, you listen? He said, it shall come to pass if you don't hearken, if you don't listen to God's voice, which is found in the Bible. If you don't listen to the Bible, read.
To observe to do all his commandments.
To keep his commandments. If we don't keep his commandments, we'd be cursed. That's why we are in the state that we're in right now. You know any of his commandments? You ever heard of the 10 Commandments?
Yeah, I heard of it.
Alright, let's go to Exodus 20 and 8. Because today there's a command we're supposed to be keeping. Why'd you come out here?
Me?
Yeah.
I was going right here by the elementary school to go, but my behind the auntie, they stay right there.
Okay. I thought you were coming over to the store or something.
I finna get a light at the store, but I wanted to see.
Okay, so alright, we got two things to talk about.
Church or where y'all was located, I wanted to stay right.
Did you get a flyer?
Yeah, I got a flyer. I want to go like a cigarette, but I want to just,
Yeah, it's on the back of the flyer. Listen to this real quick, Jay.
The address?
Yeah. Listen to this real quick, though. First one. No. Give me Exodus 20.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
So one of the 10 Commandments is to remember the Sabbath day and then to keep it holy. So there's a certain way to keep the Sabbath day separate from every other day. There's certain commandments we have for it. Right? We're gonna read one. What you got? Need my turn? So remember the Sabbath day. Today is the Sabbath day. From Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is the Sabbath. Alright? That's the 7th day of the week.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 10 and verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell.
Hey, listen to this. He said if the people of the land, if everybody comes over on the Sabbath day to our neighborhoods and try to sell us stuff, he said don't buy anything from them. Read.
That we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
So what does that mean? We're not supposed to be buying on the Sabbath. Today's the Sabbath. So should we be buying today?
No.
We shouldn't. So should you be going in the store to buy something?
Yeah.
You should?
If I had money, yeah.
What did we just read though?
Bring it up.
I don't want to be buying.
You're not supposed to be buying at all. So could you go into the store and buy something? Right now. Why? Because it's the Sabbath day. We're not supposed to be doing that at all. Go. Now give me 1 Corinthians 3. Because what'd you say you were going to buy? Yeah. You said you were going to buy a lighter, right?
Oh, no,
Wait, bro, Jay, where you going? Because we got to talk about the cigarette. Because God don't like it. He doesn't want you to smoke anything at all. What is that supposed to mean? You say you what?
I'm legal. I'm grown.
You're absolutely right. You are grown. So you know what's gonna happen when you being grown? The Lord's gonna keep you culpable.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3 and verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you.
So Dre, like we were talking about, you're the temple of God. God is trying to put his spirit inside of you, but you ain't trying to receive it. Why? Because you'd rather have the spirit of a black and mild. Read.
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
The Lord's gonna kill you. On the back of the rolling papers, and even on the back of the friggin' tobacco itself, it says you can die from cancer. But our people are so damn simple that we still go ahead and do it anyway.
Right.
Read.
For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are.
The temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. If we're God's temple, why would we treat ourselves as anything less? Why are we treating ourselves like whores and whoremongers? Why are we treating ourselves like we don't give a damn about our own life?
Right.
It goes back to self-hatred. We don't love ourselves as a people. We in fact hate ourselves. That's why we're sitting there every single day in and day out, we sit there and find a new way to kill ourselves. Whether it be through gang violence, or through smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, vape, whether it be through excessive alcohol use, we find a way to just wither away and kill ourselves. What you got?
The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
We're not supposed to be conformed to this world.
Right.
Because in this world, when you have in the rap culture and even in the, as the white man would say, the higher life or the higher society, they put emphasis on smoking. Whether it be smoking weed or whether it be smoking a Cuban cigar or black and mild. It's all the same thing. We're not supposed to be doing it. It's not natural for us.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
And finally, my brethren, be strong.